Okay, in this video lesson we're going to talk about other major scales. So in the last video we talked about the C major scale, but obviously there are lots of different major scales, G major, B major, etc. There's not just one major scale. Just as well as that, there are other types of scales as well. There's not just the major scale. We'll get to that down the track. So this lesson we're talking about other major scales, not the C major scale. So, but they get a little bit more complicated. Okay, so here I've got a few examples and I'm going to talk through these in this lesson. So, but it gets a little complicated because we need to then, as soon as we get away from C major, which is all the white notes, no sharps or flats, what we call natural notes, as soon as we get away from C major and to the other major scales, we need to start using sharps and flats. So the reason for that is if I gave an example, if we, like this top scale here, well, here's a little question for you. What's the first note of that scale? Pause the video if you need to. I'm about to give the answer. So it's a G, of course. So that is every G, that's a G. So this is going to be a G major scale. Now if we get into the keyboard and start and play a G, find the G note, and play all the white notes from G to G on the keyboard, it's not going to sound like a major scale. It'll sound a little bit like a major scale, but it won't sound exactly like a major scale. So we need sharps and flats for major scales that aren't C major. Okay, so here, let's talk through the first one. This is G major. Okay, so I might even put a little, might write that up there. G major. So, and you'll notice that, I apologise for the whistling sound, there's a storm going on outside and there's a bit of, you'll occasionally hear some weird whistling sound, so apologies for that. So you'll notice that they're all natural notes except for one. Hopefully you've spotted it. This one up here. There's that whistle again. So here's a question, what's that note? Hopefully you can work that out. It's of course an F sharp. Okay, so all natural notes like C major, but just has one sharp or one black note, and I'll demonstrate this on the keyboard. So that will make it sound exactly like a major scale should. Okay, so G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So I'll demonstrate that on a keyboard. Unfortunately, it's not plugged in, so you can't hear it, but we just have to make do. So here we go. Here's a little test on, advice on how to find notes. Generally, we start where we know. So if we know that C is here, we can find our way to G by just working up. C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so there's G. I'll do that again. C, D, E, F, G. So work from a note that we do know, and we'll find the note that we need, and that is G. So I'm going to play this scale, but it's going to have a black note in it, okay? And the black note's going to be right up here. It's going to be an F sharp. But let me play it for you. So I'll call it out as I play it. So G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, okay? As I said before, if we just played the white notes from G to G, it wouldn't sound like a major scale. It would sound kind of like a major scale, but it would not be completely correct. So I'll play that one more time. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And we can go backwards, of course. F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G. Okay, so that's the G major scale with an F sharp in it. Let's do another one. Here is another scale. So here's a question for you. What scale is this? Well, what note does it start on? That, of course, is an F note. So this is going to be F major. Oh. Okay, so that's the F major scale. Now, once again, as I said before, if you find an F on the keyboard and play all the white notes from F to F, it's not a proper major scale. It'll sound a little bit like a major scale, but it won't sound exactly like one. And you'll notice this one has a flat in it, okay? A B flat. So it requires a B flat to make it sound exactly how a major scale should. So I'll go through the notes here. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. So just a word of warning on, I did do a video on sharps and flats, but so in terms of playing a sharp and a flat on a keyboard, if you find the white note, a sharp is going to be the black note to the right, okay? That's going up. As I said before, keyboards, as it goes to the right, the pitch goes up. As it goes to the left, the pitch goes down. So a white key, and if we go to the right, the black note to the right of a white key, that's a sharp. If we go to black note to the left, that's going down, and that's a flat. So that's how you'll find a B flat. Okay, I'll play this one on the keyboard as well. All right. So we find our F note. So once again, if you're not sure, we start at C and we find our F note. C, D, E, F. There it is. So we're going to play it with a B flat. There is our B flat there, by the way. So I'll call it out as I play it. So we have F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. Fingers in the way. Try that again. Cool, I'll just play it one more time. So F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, E, D, C, B flat, A, G, F. So we can go up and down. So the main point of this video is that we did the C major scale, all natural notes, all white notes. The main point of this video is other major scales, but any other major scale other than C will have either sharps or flats. It can't have both sharps and flats, not for a major scale. It'll either have sharps or flats. Now this is fairly, these are the earlier ones. You can get much more complicated. You can go up to things like B major, which will have, if I got it correct, 5 sharps I think are in B major. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. So I had to think about that. So you can get lots more than just 1 or 2 sharps or flats. So let's talk a little bit now about key signatures. And it's still related to what we've just spoken about. And I'm going to talk about these scales, but down here. Now you'll notice down here, this is also the G major scale, but it's written out slightly differently. Okay? When we have sharps and flats, there is 2 different ways of writing it out. The first way is like this, where we just write the scale and we add in the sharp where we need it. The other way is if we use what's called a key signature. And the key signature is this thing here. So that is a sharp just all on its own. It's not in front or behind or around any kind of note. It is all on its own. And here's a question. What sharp is that? And the way I often talk about that is, if that was a note, what note would that be? And we can use our rhymes exactly the same way to work that out. So it's on a line. So we're going to use every good boy deserves fruit. E for every, G for good, B for boy, D for deserves, F for fruit. So that is the F line. And we have a sharp on the F line. So this is a key signature. And this tells us that in this piece of music, even though this is just a scale, but it could be a piece of music, any F is automatically sharp. So you don't need a sharp in the song or in the scale. It is automatically sharp. That is what a key signature does. So here we have the G major scale, but we know from here it needs an F sharp. But you'll notice when we get to the F, there is no sharp in front of the F because we have the key signature. Okay? So the key signature tells us that in this scale, or piece, it could be a piece of music, any F you come across is automatically F sharp. So those are the 2 ways that you can write out a major scale, or any scale really that has sharps and flats in it. You can put the sharp or flat straight into the scale, like these 2 examples, or you can use what we call a key signature. I'm going to talk more about key signatures in the next video and go into a little bit more detail because there's quite a lot of them. But this is just an introduction into key signatures. So for this scale here, I'm just to finish this off, for F major, if we were using a key signature, it would look like that, okay? You would have your treble clef and then you have your key signature, so that is a flat on the B, and then you can write your scale out without putting the flat in there. And we know I don't need to do it for that because we've got the G major example there. One thing before I finish on key signatures, if you may have noticed I've been saying all and any Fs are sharp. So it does not just mean that note there is F sharp. It also means that note there. If we had a song, or if we wrote out a scale lower down, the G major scale, or whatever it is, that F there, although it's not in line with the key signature, it is still F sharp. Okay? And there are other Fs. There's an F right up here, there's an F right down here. A key signature is not just that line. All Fs are sharp, no matter where they are. Okay, so that's an important thing to remember about scales, because sometimes you'll have a key signature and the note won't correspond exactly to that particular sharp or flat, and you'll be thinking, oh, is this right? Should I putting the sharp or flat down lower? No, it includes all of them, and that'll be a bit more clear in the next video when I'll talk into a bit more detail about key signatures. So yeah, other major scales and an introduction to key signatures.